got you. I see it.
Uh-oh.
All right, what a day, what a day. The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, made her return to the basketball floor today. I showed y'all, we got some live clips. I'm gonna show y'all some more. But the important part of this video, Caitlin Clark destroyed the WNBPA, Nneka Agumake, Nafisa Collier, who tries to name drop her at her convenience to win people over, Brianna Stewart, the unrivaled co-founders, all these people that's a part of the board that's signing with Project B, and all of this stuff. Caitlin Clark called their asses out today. She said, stop playing games. We need to play.
We have been waiting quite some time to see Caitlin Clark play basketball. Not only take shots and shoot around, but actually go up against something that looks like competition in an actual, competitive environment. Not just shoot off a rack, not go 1v air, actually play some basketball.
No exaggeration, the league's biggest star just grabbed the microphone and exposed everyone threatening the 2026 season. She didn't hesitate. She didn't soften it. While WNBPA board members chase side projects with Project B and Unrivaled, playing 3-on-3 for pocket money, Caitlin Clark said what fans have been screaming for months: stop the games, stop the noise, and prioritize real WNBA basketball. Period.
The crew has officially arrived for USA basketball camp in North Carolina. We got Caitlin Clark pulling up. We got Caitlin Clark and AB. We got Rakia Jackson, De'Arica Hamby, CC and AB.
Oh, got you. I see it.
This isn't about negotiation tactics anymore. This is about the future of women's basketball, and the one person who really fills arenas, who truly moves the needle, just made a statement that's sending shockwaves through the entire league. She's the star who can draw crowds, who has the power to change perceptions, and who just told the union she's not going to stand by while they risk destroying everything that's been built. Let me break down exactly what happened, why it matters so much, and how this shifts the entire landscape of women's basketball.
We're going to turn up the content on Caitlin Clark because they have to. Now, this is Caitlin Clark defending Paige Becker. Looks like Caitlin Clark rolled off for her there. I want to see that again. No, Caitlin Clark did. So it looked like Caitlin Clark locked Paige down. Caitlin Clark can lock Paige down. Now, this is another clip here. Whoa, Paige bust Caitlin ass right there. I can't even lie. They had to hate on Caitlin right there, bro. Now, this is just practice, but something that I want to notice here is Caitlin Clark being able to jump. Caitlin Clark jumped hella high. Caitlin Clark is 100% ready to go. She's fully healed. She is locked in, ready to go. Guys, this is big time news here, because for Caitlin Clark to be able to leave the ground, do you guys know what it's been early July. I cannot stress that enough, bro.
4 months now, the WNBA and the WNBPA, the Women's National Basketball Players Association, have been embroiled in negotiations over a new collective bargaining agreement. It's a process that's dragged on longer than expected, with the original deadline of October 30th extended repeatedly. Now, we're looking at a potential new deadline in January, specifically January 9th, which means there are roughly 140 additional days of back and forth, of negotiations, of stalling, while fans are left wondering whether they'll even get a 2026 season. This delay, this uncertainty, threatens to undo everything the league has achieved in recent years.
Caitlin is back on the court. It's good to see her in uniform, even though number 22 is not what she's wearing. Nice. She looks good. Nice. Nice.
The situation has become incredibly complicated. On one hand, you have the league and the players trying to come to an agreement that respects their value, their work, and their future. On the other hand, you have a series of conflicting interests that are making resolution difficult, if not impossible. The WNBPA board, the very group that's supposed to be representing the players' best interests, is now signing contracts with competing leagues. This is where things get tangled and, frankly, troubling. The same people negotiating on behalf of the players are also involved in deals with leagues that operate outside of the WNBA's ecosystem, leagues that are not invested in the league's long-term success, leagues that don't share the league's values or its growth potential.
Oh, got you. I see.
Names like Nanakika Abiamike, Brianna Stewart, and Nafisa Collier, some of the league's brightest stars, are also the co-founders of Unrivaled, a competing 3-on-3 league. They're supposed to be negotiating in good faith with the WNBA, working toward a deal that benefits the players and the league. But their involvement in a rival league creates a clear conflict of interest. It's a classic case of having your cake and eating it too, negotiating for better conditions and salaries while simultaneously building a competing product that siphons off the league's talent, attention, and revenue. This isn't just a minor conflict, it's a fundamental betrayal of the players and the league's integrity. It's one thing to negotiate hard, to push for better deals, but it's another thing entirely to undermine your own organization while doing so. If the very people who are supposed to be fighting for the league's future are also working for a competing league, it creates a situation where good faith negotiations are impossible. It's like trying to negotiate a peace treaty with one hand tied behind your back while the other hand is secretly arming your opponent. It makes no sense, and it's a betrayal of the trust that fans, sponsors, and the entire basketball community place in the league. People have been waiting for a clear, strong voice, someone with real star power, to speak up about what's really happening behind the scenes. Not a union representative reading from a prepared statement. Not a carefully crafted press release designed to avoid controversy. We needed someone who moves the needle, someone who understands the moment and can articulate it honestly. That person is Caitlin Clark. Fresh off her injury and barely back on the court, Caitlin Clark has already had enough of the circus. She stepped up to the microphone at USA basketball camp and dropped a bombshell that's still echoing across social media and sports circles. In her own straightforward, no-nonsense way, she said, "This is the biggest moment the WNBA has ever seen, and it's not something that can be messed up. We're going to fight for everything we deserve, but at the same time, we need to play basketball. That's what our fans crave." End of quote. What does that mean? It's a clear, direct message. Caitlin Clark just said, "I'm not interested in your little 3-on-3 leagues. I'm not doing your alternative tournaments or off-season exhibitions. I'm here for the real deal, the WNBA. And y'all need to get your act together before you ruin everything." She didn't stop there. She continued to speak with clarity and conviction. She emphasized that the way teams make money is by playing games, by putting on a product that fans want to see. The product isn't exhibition tournaments, not off-season events in gyms with a handful of spectators. It's real, meaningful, competitive basketball. And she made a critical point that many in the league are afraid to say out loud: the league's growth and sustainability depend on the product on the court. The fans want to see legitimate games, not filler content. The real growth comes from meaningful competition, from teams competing in front of sold-out arenas, from ratings soaring because of compelling narratives and star power, like Caitlin Clark herself. She also proposed a pragmatic approach to negotiations. Instead of insisting on a 5-year deal that might take years to renegotiate, she suggested a 3-year CBA. That's leadership, understanding that the best way to grow a bigger pie is not to burn the bakery down but to work together, to find common ground, and to build momentum. She recognized that the league just had its biggest season ever, ratings through the roof, attendance records shattered, a $2.2 billion TV deal, and now, the union wants to risk all of that over issues like a $5 million salary cap, maximum salaries of $1.5 million, revenue sharing models that give players only 10 to 15% of league revenue, and plans to end housing subsidies. On paper, these issues seem significant, but in reality, they are small compared to the opportunity at hand. Yet, the union appears willing to risk losing it all just over some financial demands that, in the grand scheme, are manageable. Caitlin Clark sees through it. She knows that her ability to fill arenas and drive revenue is what makes the league valuable. She averaged over 17,000 fans per game last season, more than many other leagues. She's the reason ESPN's talking about the league in prime time. She's the reason expansion franchises are fetching $250 million. She's the face of women's basketball's future, and she's telling everyone, I'm ready to play. I'll bring the fans, the ratings, the excitement. But you need to let me do what I do best, play basketball. She's making it clear that the league's growth is driven by the on-court product, not by off-court negotiations or side deals. Her message is simple: the league must prioritize playing the game. Fans crave genuine competition, rivalry, drama, things that happen on the court, not in conference rooms. Caitlin Clark understands that if the league cancels the season, all those gains, ratings, attendance, media attention, will evaporate. The momentum that took years to build could vanish overnight. Behind the scenes, the conflict is obvious. The WNBPA's leadership, with its own financial interests tied to competing leagues and side deals, doesn't want to make concessions. They're playing a long game that involves delaying, stalling, and holding out for maximum demands. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who is the league's biggest star and a magnet for fans and media attention, is advocating for compromise. She's saying, let's play. Let's build something bigger, together. Her comments have ignited social media. Fans have been waiting for her to speak, and she didn't disappoint. Her message was clear: we need to play. That's what the fans want. That's what builds the league's future. And her stance puts enormous pressure on the union leadership. If she's publicly saying it's time to move forward, what's the union's real excuse for holding things up? They can't hide behind principles or leverage anymore because the league's biggest star, arguably the most influential player in women's basketball, has spoken plainly and forcefully. The media has caught on, too. Sports outlets are framing this as a critical moment. CBS Sports ran headlines criticizing the league for undermining its own product again. They pointed out that even with billionaires investing hundreds of millions into expansion, and a new TV deal that's worth billions, the core issue remains: players are still fighting for respect and fair compensation. But respect isn't just about dollars, it's about integrity. If the union's leadership, those negotiating on behalf of the players, are also involved with rival leagues and side deals, that's a betrayal of the league's future. Caitlin Clark's words expose a fundamental truth: you can't strong-arm your way into respect. You earn respect by consistently delivering a product that fans love, and that makes the league valuable. You earn respect by having star players like her, who are willing to put everything on the line, selling out arenas, drawing ratings, and building a brand that is unstoppable. She said it herself: this is the biggest moment in WNBA history. The league's future hinges on what happens now. And she's urging everyone to avoid making a mistake that could be irreversible. This isn't just about a contract or a season. It's about the long-term viability of women's basketball. The league has made incredible strides, ratings are up, the league's valuation is soaring, and there's genuine excitement about expansion and new markets. Yet, all of that could be lost if the current negotiations fall apart. Caitlin Clark understands this perfectly. She's not just a player, she's a leader. She's the player who can command attention, who can influence public opinion, and who can rally fans behind the cause. She's using her platform to send a message, one that's simple but powerful: play the game, build the future, and don't let short-term greed destroy everything. She's also making a subtle but critical point about the power dynamics at play. The people who stand to benefit most from delaying the season, those with stakes in rival leagues, side deals, or financial interests that conflict with the league's growth, are the ones dragging their feet. They're playing checkers while Caitlin Clark is playing chess. Her willingness to speak out, to call for action, and to put pressure on the union leadership is a masterclass in leadership. She's showing that sometimes, the most effective way to get what you want is to speak the truth openly and honestly, without fear. Her comments have put the union in a difficult position. If they continue to resist and delay, they risk alienating their biggest star, who is the face of women's basketball. If they accept her call for compromise, they might lose some leverage but preserve the league's momentum and reputation. Either way, Caitlin Clark has made it clear, she's not just a player, she's a force that can shape the future. The league can't ignore her. And what's more, she's exposed a fundamental weakness in the current negotiation process. The leadership at the top, those negotiating on behalf of the players, seems more interested in maximizing short-term gains or flexing leverage than in building a sustainable, growing league. Meanwhile, the fans, the media, and the future of women's basketball are waiting. They want to see stars like Caitlin Clark on the court, competing, entertaining, and elevating the sport. If the season is cancelled or delayed beyond January 9th, the consequences will be severe. Expansion teams that paid hundreds of millions of dollars will be sitting on empty assets. TV networks that signed billion-dollar deals will have nothing to show. Sponsors will pull back, and the entire momentum of women's basketball, something that's been years in the making, could be lost. The casual fans, the new viewers who started tuning in because of Caitlin Clark and others like her, might walk away for good. The buzz, the energy, the hope that women's basketball was finally breaking through to mainstream consciousness, everything could vanish overnight. Caitlin Clark sees this clearly. She recognizes that her influence goes beyond just scoring points or filling arenas. It's about shaping the future. She's willing to stand firm, to advocate for the league, and to push for a resolution that benefits everyone: players, fans, owners, and the sport itself. Her message is straightforward: the league's success depends on action, not on endless negotiations or ideological battles. The fans deserve basketball. The players deserve a fair shot. And the league's future depends on whether everyone can put aside their differences and get back on the court. This moment is a turning point. The old guard, those who prefer to play politics and delay, are losing ground. The new guard, those who understand that building a sustainable, exciting league requires stars, on-court product, and fan engagement, are winning. And Caitlin Clark, with her honesty and leadership, is leading the charge. She's showing that sometimes, the best way to win is to speak the truth, to rally supporters, and to demand action. She's also forcing everyone involved to confront a hard reality: without the players, there is no league. Without the fans, there is no revenue. Without respect, there's no growth. And right now, the league stands at a crossroads. It can choose to capitalize on its momentum, to build something lasting and meaningful, or it can risk falling into chaos and irrelevance. The question now is whether the leadership at the top will listen. Whether they'll recognize that the league's biggest star is calling for unity, for progress, for action. Or whether they'll double down on their position, risking everything for short-term gains or ideological battles. The fans are watching. The media is paying attention. And Caitlin Clark has made it clear: the future of women's basketball depends on whether everyone can come together, focus on what really matters, playing basketball, and leave behind the games that threaten to undo everything that's been built. The league's biggest moment is here, and the voice of its most influential player has just spoken. Now, it's time to see if anyone is listening.